All right, let's see here. All right, audio's working. Everything's good there. Here's some people come on. Boom, boom. Here. All right, just wait for some people to come on. Boom. Make sure the audio's working. Man, that wind out there is crazy. Wow. See some people coming in. How you guys doing? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Hopefully you guys can, because the audio looks like it's going up and down. Man, it's been a crazy week. Let's see. Make sure everything's up and going. Starting to get some people in. Good, good, good. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope your projects are coming along good. Got some updates this video to talk about. So I'm pretty stoked about. See who's coming in. Still got a couple minutes. I'm just getting up to 7:30 now, so it's good. Good, good, good. Man, this weather is just absolutely crazy. With this wind and the rain, oh, it's been awful. It's been absolutely awful. So I see we have a couple people on up there. Boom, boom. All right. So we'll just get started, and when people join, we'll probably go back over what we talked about. We did it. We hit 8,000 subscribers. 8,062, I believe it is now. And it's because of you guys. It's great. I really appreciate all the support. I can't even believe this channel's growing this fast. It's just mind-blowing. Some of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about is about the sprockets on the KE102 build. There was a lot of people asking, what am I going to do about the sprocket for that? So I got an itch in my ear. About the sprocket for the KE102 build. And because it is on that particular bike, I ended up going with the high and low range. So it's on a sprocket like this, like you'd find on the G4 TRs and on the KV100. So anything with the high and low, this would affect like Suzuki bikes with the high, like the TS or the TC. 90s through the 100s through the 125s with the high and low. It's either a TC or a TS. I don't remember which one bike it is. But they use the same type of driver like this one right here. And these are very hard to find. In fact, you can't buy these new anymore. They're obsolete. Nobody stocks them. So you're probably saying to yourself, well, how did you get that new one? Here's what I did. I took my old one to a machine shop and had them machine the gear, the sprocket, right off the mount. I think I showed this in another video, but I'll show it to you guys again. Then I took a regular standard sprocket, and I had the machine shop bore it out here. And then what they did, hey Matt, what they did was they pressed it on, and then I had a buddy of mine TIG weld it. See how they TIG welded it in a few spots? They TIG welded it. And now I have a brand new sprocket. And that process to build the sprocket is not cheap. It can range between $250 to $300 to have that done. But I got a brand new sprocket and I can use the bike the way I want to. These last a long time. Reason why I'm talking about the sprocket, because a lot of people like to run their chains tight. The bike has what they call deflection, which is about 3/4 to 1 inch deflection, so the chain can flex back and forth. With a properly lubricated chain and properly tensioned, this right here will last you a very long time. Now, when I was doing the KE102 build, I had mentioned I wanted to use a 16-tooth sprocket. Using a 16-tooth sprocket is going to give me more top end. So here's how this works. The smaller the sprocket in the front and the bigger the sprocket in the back, the bike is going to climb better. The bigger one in the front and a smaller one in the back is going to give you more top end. It's going to give you more speed. Okay. It's going to have a little bit of a time getting up to that. So basically you're playing with, like if you're in a car, rear differential gears. So my bike, I'm using a bigger sprocket in the back. I'm using a, what do you call it? A 50 tooth in the back. So it's quite a big sprocket. So having a 16 up front is going to help that complement that nicely. It's going to be able to climb, and it's going to have the regular 45, 50 mile an hour top end that I'm looking for. Remember, it's only a 100cc bike. So that's what I'm doing with that. Okay. So now that we talked about the sprocket and about chain deflection, which is all part of maintenance on a bike, it's very important. So now we're into the spring where you guys are taking your bikes out and you're lubricating the chains, you're lubricating all the cables, and you're getting the bike all flexed and everything else. Well, now is the time to check your deflection, lubricate your chain, and make sure they're all good. So, Matt, on your bike that I have here, I have Matt's bike here, his KE100, and I've been digging up a whole bunch of parts that we're going to be swapping out from his bike. And many of these parts were donated by subscribers. So we're basically on Matt's bike. We're going to take a lot of his worn parts off the bike, like the seat and some of the other stuff that he has on it, some of the other components, and we're going to swap them out with nicer parts and then refurbish what we take off and goes back into the donate pile. So you'll be seeing some videos and stuff on that. That's one of the cool things about doing these bikes is I'm able to flip-flop parts and make these bikes more pristine, if you will, more valuable than they were when I first got them. Another update I want to talk to you guys about that I keep getting a lot of people asking me, Kevin, what is going on with that custom exhaust you made? You made that custom exhaust. I saw the pipe. You and your brother, you welded it up, and then that was it. That was the last I seen of it. So I want to show you guys a little bit about that. So you guys remember when I did on that last video on that custom exhaust, I cut all the pipes and they just need to be welded together. Well, here's what it looks like when it's all welded together. This is the pipe, and this part's going to go into the muffler right here. And then the shock is going to be right here. So it's going to be the back of it. Of course, it's going to be dressed and painted. But you can see how nice the welds came out. This is all individual piping, by the way. And then the tip right here, you can see that. That is off of a Suzuki DS80. And I'm using a Suzuki DS80 silencer, muffler, if you will. And I cut the bracket off this. This is a bracket that comes up with a hole in it. We're going to be relocating that hole to fit the Kawasaki. And how that goes, it's got this little rubber mount right there. And this slides right into it like that. And there you go. And then it'll be all bolted up here. And then this will be a complete custom exhaust. Now, with that said, since we're into the exhaust, I've been getting a lot of text messages from a lot of subscribers. Many of you guys contact me through Facebook. You guys contact me through Instagram. And I also now have Twitter. I have a Twitter account. So you guys can follow me on there if you like as well. A lot of stuff has been going on. So I've been trying to get everything done. And this week I've been just hammered away. I don't know if you guys remember that big, not really so big, but it was like a 15-foot RV that I had in the camper that was all deteriorated. I brought that right down to the frame, and I'm actually making a motorcycle trailer for the channel. So you're going to be seeing that around. What I wanted to talk to you guys about. Hey, Larry. What do you call it there? Yeah, I'm going to be on the tube really, really soon. I have been busting my butt trying to get everything situated. And Larry, we're going to be making some serious videos in the next coming weeks. I'm actually doing a quick trip to Florida, and then I'm coming back. And then it's going to be video Armageddon. It's going to be crazy. What I wanted to talk to you guys about is packing. This is packing. This is what the packing material looks like, and this goes inside the mufflers. And what happens over time, because a lot of people are talking about their bikes following spark plugs, low power. The bike can't climb, can't get out of its own way. It is just running like crap. Well, let me tell you what happens. Okay. Especially in the northern area where we live, all two-strokes put out what they call soot. What is soot? That is carbon going into your exhaust. That is the fuel and oil mix that gets past the piston, not gets burnt, and it becomes mixed with the carbon and becomes soot. This soot over time hardens and it clogs up stuff. And what does it clog up? It clogs up the packing that's in the exhaust. And it really wreaks havoc on bikes. So you're probably thinking to yourself, well, we'll just take the packing out. Well, the bike is designed to have the packing. The packing helps silence. It helps the performance. Majorly helps the performance. By not changing the packing on the bike periodically, you can actually lose power and make the bike feel like a 40cc bike, okay? The bike won't get up to speed. It can cause the bike to heat up. What do you call it there? Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, the potholes were terrible. So it was pretty. It can do some pretty substantial damage to a bike. So it's very important to change the packing and the exhaust. I actually have a video on that. Keeping the bike properly tuned. Okay, and I don't mean by today's standards. There's today's standards, which is like the KXs, the newer YZs, those type of bikes. These are not those type of bikes. So what I do tell people is to embrace the fact that you have an older two-stroke bike. It's very important to embrace what you have and not try to make it something it's not. For instance, if you try to use, I see a lot of people trying to use KX100 carburetors on a KE100, and they don't fit. They have to modify them, and they get like a quarter throttle, and the thing is topped out, and then after that falls on its face when they go half. And then they end up putting in the smallest jets to make the thing even work, and then what they have is a really nice looking carburetor that's about ready to destroy your engine because it's sucking in dirt and all kinds of other debris. So utilize what you have there. So we're working on Brian's bike right now. We're getting all the parts and pieces to that, as you guys saw in that last video. And I'm going to teach you guys some cool porting tips and tricks that are going to, and I'm going to explain to you about the whole porting thing, on how to open them up and the way to do them. There's a right and a wrong way to port a cylinder. And if you do it wrong, you're going to lose power. If you do it right, you're going to make a lot of power. And that's what we want to do. Strawberry milk. So, having the proper porting on a cylinder, the proper exhaust, the proper jetting, the proper carburetor, then the proper ignition settings are really going to make your bike perform. If you don't do them properly and you try to implement newer technology that is totally not designed for that bike, you're going to leave power on the table and you're going to be very disappointed with your build. That's what this channel is about teaching the proper ways of doing things. I am in the current process of making a CDI ignition for the KE100 and got very itchy. I got that stuff all over me. It's awful. That stuff right there is very itchy. So if you got packing, keep it away from your face. I already got some on my nose there. It's awful. But you want to make sure that you're using the proper stuff on your bikes, because I'm telling you, I'm in the process of making one. If you don't do these things properly, the bike is going to run like crap. Bottom line. Um, I got one of my questions was, Kevin, when I'm revving my bike and I got the cover off the carburetor, which you shouldn't do, but they do it. I see fuel coming out the carburetor. That is a perfectly normal thing to do. It is going to happen, and that's perfectly fine. The piston is literally pushing the fuel back out the ports. The exhaust port and the intake port are open at the same time. Also, when the piston travels down, it pushes pressure out. And if there's any port that's slightly open, it's going to put the fuel back out through the carburetor. That's perfectly normal, and it's okay. It mystifies and evaporates, and you're all done. So keep that in mind. One of the other questions I got was, oil tanks are getting hard to find. I know, because I have everybody and their brother asking me about them. I'm going to be doing a video, and I'm going to show you guys how to fix a broken nipple on a carburetor using a lawnmower part. Yes, I said it, a lawnmower part that is going to blow your mind. It's going to be like, what? Really? That works? And it works perfectly fine. And so I'll be showing that in a video too, because I have an oil tank that has a weak nipple. It's sometimes when you undo the hose, like you twist the hose, it twists the whole nipple and then it wants to break off. The correct way to remove a hose that you're replacing is with a razor blade, cut it straight down and peel it back, and then you won't break the nipple. And then when you put it on, lubricate the nipple, slide the hose over it. These bikes have been sitting for a long time, so these tips and tricks are going to teach you the ways to save what you have. A fuel line is easy to replace, an oil line is easy to replace, but if you break the nipple, that makes it harder. Hey, Peter, what's the difference between an A5, A6, A7, A? Okay, there are actually a few differences, but they're very subtle. Some of them could be a side cover. It could be a side cover mount. It could be the electrical system. So, like on the G4s and the G5s they're basically the same bike, but they have different electrical systems, different options. It could be a toggle switch in a different spot, different location. So, like, what's it going? Okay, so like the earlier bikes had the choke for your thumb up on the left handle, where the newer ones have it down by the carburetor. You have to pull it up. So different things like that. Again, different things like that. So you want to make sure that when you're buying your parts, you're buying them for the proper bike. I personally never use the A5, A6. I don't go by that at all. I go by the year, make, and model, period. Because when you're talking to somebody and you say, oh, I have an A8, if they don't know an A8 is a KE100 or Suzuki or whatever it is, they're going to be like, oh yeah, I got one of those too. Yeah, sure. You know what I mean? So I always go by the year, make, and model, because that's the best way to go. What's this one? Here I have a key with a broken shift finger and second gear. I have all the seals, new parts to figure out. The only little world miles. It's in my own. Anyone want it? If you were closer, I would jump all over that. That would be cool. Good to see you back on. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So, other crank cases, pretty much. So there might be a shifter difference. So if you look where the air box goes onto, you'll see a plug sticking right there. It's like it looks like a nut. If yours has the nut, then that's the 1 down, neutral, 2, 3, 4, 5. If it doesn't have that, then it's all the way down, it's neutral, and then it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So some of those had shifter differences. Earlier bikes also had what do you call it there? The taper on the crankshaft was different. They used a different flywheel. So realistically, what you got to do is go by the year, make, and model, and not by the A8, AB, all that. That's just a pain in the neck, to be honest with you. You're really making it harder on yourself trying to find parts, especially if you type in Kawasaki A8. Not everybody knows what that is, but look for the model and number and the serial, serial, but the model number of the bike and the year. That's what's going to help you. Hey, right? Georgia, I'll be going by Georgia in another week. So, yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy. So, yeah, you want to definitely, you definitely want to go by the year, make, and model of the bike. Because, like I said, anything else could really mess you up. That's good strawberry milk. I tell you, if you guys have a chance, get some strawberry milk. It's wicked good. So, I hope everybody is doing spectacular. Like I said, I demoed a trailer, and I'm actually making my YouTube trailer where I could put all the bikes on there. It's going to have the Kevin Bergeron YouTube channel thing on there. I'll be showing that off on some of the meet and greets and stuff like that. So it'll be pretty cool. We hit 8,000 subscribers. And I say we because this is our channel. You guys have contributed your time, your views, your subscriptions, and all that to the channel. Get this stuff all over me. So once again, 8,000 subscribers is unbelievable. Thank you. I want to say thank you. It's a huge help. And the thumbs up, those really help promote the channel and move us forward. I can't believe how much this channel is growing. I'm still blown away by we hit 8,000. I was blown away when we hit 7,000. I just didn't think this channel was going to blow up like it did, and it really has because of you guys and your dedication, your subscriptions, and everything that you guys have put into it. So I really appreciate all the feedback and all that. So you guys are awesome. Keep it up. So what on the Kevin, what on a 175 KE with 900 miles that you are riding? Shift down, you just got down the road. I'm not understanding that. Hold on, let me read that one more time. Kevin, what on a 175 KE with 900 miles? What you are that you are riding, and it's like it shifts down. That could be a one shift fork. Some of those bikes, if a 175, those are ridden pretty hard. It could be a bad dog. Where the dog is, you have a gear. Actually, there's a dog right here. See these little square things right here? Okay, those are dogs. And we're going to pretend that this gear right here has a matching dog, and they interlock together. Well, what happens is the edges of this get rounded off. So what happens is it slips. It like a cam. It cams off, and then it goes into a downshifts. It goes back into the gear it came out of. So that's a possibility. A one clutch basket can also do that. Fifth gear, so you're at the top, you're going as fast as you can, and then it wants to go back to fourth automatically, is what you're saying? Because if that's the case, that's typically a one dog or a one shifter fork. And the shifter fork, as you know, is what grabs the gear and slides it back and forth. And if the gear is one into it, if it's one into it, it won't push it all the way over. So instead of the dogs being all the way interlocked, it'll be out a little bit it'll be right on the edge of it, and it'll start to wear out of it. So 900 miles new clutch. Yeah, mileage I find don't really matter. It's not a car, so it really depends on how it was ridden. If you have a person who literally rides the bike like they stole it, don't use the clutch, and hammer every gear, 900 miles is like 100,000 miles on a bike. They just literally beat the snot out of it, or they didn't know how to drive, a standard to begin with, and then basically grind them until it clicked in, which is another possibility as well. So what I would do is, I believe you can adjust that a little bit. Try adjusting your clutch, and I have a 175 here KE that I'm working on. I'll take a look and see if there's an adjustment for that, because sometimes the shaft, I like on the KEs, there's a brass fitting on one side, and if it's not aligned, you can tap it over just ever so slightly, and it will realign them. Regarding what you said about that, some keys different shifting pattern, transmission internals the same. No, they are actually different. The shift. That's a great question, though. I do have a transmission video that shows that. I don't remember what the name of it is, but I do share. What do you call it there? It shows the different drums. In fact, I know on one of my KV75, the mini bike videos, actually shows a different drum with, the different transmissions altogether. Once 75 and a 100, but you'll get to see the differences between the shift patterns. My 79 KE1 KZ650B3 now has the electronic ignition and was treated very nicely. It runs well. Yeah, 1,700 miles. That's great. Yeah, my Virago 1100 has 3,200 miles, and that wasn't treated very nicely until I got it, and I had to do a ton of work to that. But I mean, that's a great bike. The KZ650 is a fun bike. That's one of those bikes you can throw into the corners. Yes, I know you have one. Oh, yeah, okay, yep. So yeah, the shifted drums and all that are different, but you'll be able to see how they actually they work. And I actually have a transmission that I had cut off of that bike. We separated the KE100 motor. We took the transmission off of it, so it's just the engine. I'm actually putting together a transmission so I can show you guys what goes on, and I'm using bad gears in it too, which is going to be super cool, because I'll be able to show you guys what actually happens, and you can actually see into the transmission because I cut windows. It's pretty cool. So once that's done, I'll be doing videos on that, and we're going to reenact some transmission problems. Boom. Let's see here. Hold on 1 second. Hey, Kevin. The videos. I put the top end on my bike. It ran great for 400 miles. And last ride was 20 minutes and almost made it home and melted on the exhaust side. All right, so you had King, what happened with your bike is you had a problem with your bike prior to doing that. And what you did was you saw that the piston was torn up on the exhaust side, which means it's a lean condition. So what happened was you replaced the parts, but you didn't fix the lean condition. That was the actual cause of that. So for every problem, there's a cost. This is a great learning thing. So in this case, it could be a crank seal, it could be a bad jetting situation, it could be an air leak somewhere. So you have to address those problems first before you just go through a top end. Many people run into this problem. I can't tell you how many times people have told me, I put a whole new top end on my bike, and then I rode the bike, and it just blew up again. And I didn't do nothing. I wasn't riding it hard or anything. That's because there was a problem. So if you look at my video on pressure testing, I always pressure test my engines, because you have to do a vacuum and pressure test. When you do that, you'll be able to find any leaks, and you'll have a nice sealed unit, and then you'll know what to look for on these bikes. It could be as simple as a loose head gasket, a blown head gasket. It could be as simple as riding the bike with no carburetor cover. That could do it as well. Or no air filter, or a bad air filter. That could do it. An aftermarket air filter without the proper jetting. That could do it. No exhaust tip. Run the exhaust with a wide open with no baffle in there. That can do it. These are all things that can cause a lean condition. this goes back to what I've been saying on these bikes throughout the entire channel. These bikes were designed a specific way, and if you keep them that way and you put the proper parts into them, they'll last. My custom exhaust I'm making doesn't have a baffle, so I had to use a baffle that was relatively the same as the baffle used on the KE100. So that's why I used the Suzuki DS80, because this is basically the same baffle. It's just a different shape. That's all. So that's why I went with that, so I don't lose that. And then of course I'll have to do the what do you call it? The jetting. I want me to see it. What's your opinion about honing Nicosile? So there's Nicosile is a coating that they put on the cylinder to what do you call it there? To protect the aluminum and to make it so that, because if you don't have the Nicosile coating on an aluminum cylinder, the cylinder is going to be wavy. That's a hard, and it makes it nice and straight and solid. Now, there is a couple of people who do hone Nicosile. You can hone with a finish hone, and it has to be a very fine grit, and you only do it for a second because you just want to take, like, say you have a piston that burnt out, but it didn't score the cylinder. Okay, this is the example that you would use this on. And you see that there is aluminum transfer. So the aluminum from the piston melted off and stuck right to the sidewall. You can take that off. Some people use like 3000 grit sandpaper and just kind of light, wet, dry sandpaper like you use on a body of a car, and then you sand it out, and then you're good. You don't want to use something so abrasive that it starts to cut through the Nicosile, or else it's going to be very expensive. Some people are against some special. Yeah, you can use the hone. Remember, the Nicosile was very strong. It's very durable. It is not like a what do you call it there? It's not going to come off too easily, but you can damage it with the incorrect hone. So you want to be using a really high number finish hone, and you don't want to keep going at it. You just want to go down a few times, touch it up, and then call it happy. And if you have to re-Nicosile it, then you have to make that call. But Nicosile in itself is a very durable, very strong finish, and it lasts for a very long time. And more often than not, you'll see that the piston had actually gouged the cylinder, and at that point, you would have to go ahead and re-Nicosile. But if it's not, and it's just like you see some light stuff and it's kind of like raised, that's piston transfer onto the cylinder, and that can be honed out. It's kind of like at the beginning part of what do you call it there? At the beginning part of a burn up. When I brought the bike, it was stuck from sitting. Yeah, so stuck from sitting. What do you call it there? Yeah, that's another common thing, because it depends on where the piston was in the cylinder. If it was down and the intake was open and the exhaust port was open, it gets moisture in there and then it seals around the ring. But yeah, you should be able to free that up, no problem. And what I would do is lubricate it, tap it down. Once you get it down, take it off and make sure that ring is free. If the piston ring is not free, you're going to get what they call blow by, and it's going to run awful if it even starts. Cast iron sleeves are great. I don't use the cast iron sleeves unless I absolutely have to. But they do make them. They are expensive, and in most cases, it's cheaper just to buy a whole new cylinder. But if you can even get a earlier cast iron cylinder, so the early bikes had cast iron cylinders. It's going to cost you like $80 to bore it out, which is a brand new cylinder, and then you buy the piston from Wiseco, 5 over, 10 over, whatever size you want, and then you throw that in. That's ultimately the way to go. So if you have a KE100 that's like, say, a 19, let's see, like a 90s model, it's going to be aluminum. But if you went to the early 70s, well, not early 70s, but like later 70s, like 76 or so, you can use one of those cast iron cylinders and put it right on the bike and then be done with it. The downside to the cast iron, it's heavier. It's like 5 pounds heavier. So the idea with a dirt bike or an enduro or any bike is basically to lighten it up. So when you lighten it up, it makes the bike, it's just better. And if you keep going through all the steps to lighten up the bike, the more weight you take off the bike, the better off the bike will be. And that's what the idea behind that is. But I'll be honest with you, you're not going to notice the difference between an aluminum or a cast iron cylinder. 75 KH100. Nice top. Nice. Beautiful bike. Beautiful bike. Look, is that the red one? Is that red? So do you know anyone makes an aftermarket solid state? No, nobody makes one as of right now, and that's why I'm in the process of making one. I'm trying to do one on a 3-magnet flywheel. Is a very complicated thing to do. Green. Oh, yep. Nice. Oh, guys, I have a. I'm going to introduce it on the next video, but I got some big news, and I almost got to put that on this. So, yeah, you can send me a picture of that, Phil. You can send that. Well, I'll tell you in a second, because that's what I'm actually talking about. Funny you say that. So, Kevin Subs 76. Is it 76? I have to get the I have to get that for you guys. But I'm going to give you guys. I don't have it with me. I'm sorry. I'm so excited about this. As a thank you for giving back, I have started a new what do you call it there? Gmail account, and I'm asking you guys, my subscribers, to send me a 5-minute video of your bike, talking about your bike, showcasing your bike and your bike build. And in your video, if you could please go ahead and write how this channel, or say how this channel helped your bike. I'm going to be doing a collaboration video where we're going to be showing all your bikes into one video, and your bike will be on YouTube. And it's a great way to support the channel and to say thank you. So I'm asking you guys to showcase your bikes on the channel. And as of right now, sorry, my nose is itchy from that. I'm sorry. I keep going like that. I can't help it. What do you call it there? As of right now, this channel, like I said, has been growing like wildfire, and I'm very honored that you guys are part of this. And I love doing these live chats. So, my channel, hold on a second. Boom, boom, boom. We are at 1,673,537 views. That is huge. That is super huge. Oh, thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. So, thank you for the super chat. That's awesome. So, we are growing. So, I want to say thank you guys, and I want you guys to send me a video. Please keep it 5 minutes or under, but because it's going to be a collaboration video, so it's going to be a longer video, but it's going to have everybody's bike. And then we're going to do something cool that I can't talk about right now. But I do appreciate all the support that you guys have given this channel. This channel has been growing like absolutely crazy, and it's because of you guys. So this is a way for me to say thank you and give back, showcasing your bikes and promoting the channel at the same time. So it's really great that you guys do that. Thank you. I appreciate that, George. The like I said, we got some big stuff coming up, and it has just been absolutely outstanding. And it's because of you guys. And you guys keep with these great questions. And, I sit here and I ponder, what can I do a video about that I haven't already done one on, right? And then I read some of your comments, and I'm like, I'll just do a video on it. That's amazing. Yeah, I'm going to, I got to get that Kevin Subs. I got to, can you guys excuse me for 1 second? I'm going to go run real quick into the living room and see if I have the paper I wrote it on, because I have a another Gmail account, and I set it up for you guys to send your videos to. So Just hold on 1 second. We'll go see if I can find it real quick. I'll be right back. Take me a second. As I knock everything over, right? All right. Here I come, guys. Here I come. All right. Sorry about that. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. So the I need a pen so I can finish this off, but it's Kevin's Subs 2016 at gmail.com. And hold on, let me see. I'm just gonna grab this pen real quick. I'm just gonna leave this up there for a second. Look. Of course, I grab a pen and don't write. At gmail.com. Okay. Sorry about my little scribbles. I'll put that up there for a minute. You guys see that all right? Backwards, of course. Right. Kevin Subs 2016 at gmail.com. That's where you can send your videos and get in contact me a little bit easier than using the email that's on the YouTube channel. So I'm going to be using that email instead for the channel. And when I get enough videos, I'm going to be able to do the collaboration. So it's going to be a little bit. I was hoping to do it by the time I hit 8,000, but you guys are really fast with the subscription, so it's been growing crazy. And so I just want to say thank you for that once again. So once again, please keep the videos 5 minutes. Showcase the bikes, and don't forget to say what the channel, how this channel has helped your bike, and it'll be honest. To be honest, this is my third smallest bud. Yeah, you know, Chris, I'm telling you, I have a Yamaha Virago 1100, and I absolutely love my KM 100 or my KD 80. And see, the thing is about being a biker, it's not about the size of the motorcycle. No, it's not about that at all. It's about what gets you up in the morning, what motivates you. I have a KV 75, and I love that little thing. I mean, I would, if I could ride that on the street, like going back and forth to work. I'm just so small, but I would. That thing is amazing. Yeah, the GTR, yeah. Yeah, I know. So sometimes you lose bikes and you can't get them back. I just got back my first on-road bike a little while ago there, my Honda CB 350, and I'm over the moon about it. I can't wait to ride it, register it and all that. And I still actually have the title that I had with it. So I'm pretty stoked about that. And it was really nice to get it back after all these years, and it was like it was never touched. So it's pretty cool. What was the other thing? Jeez, I had something else I want to talk to you guys about. I picked up a couple of other bikes. I picked up, so I live on a dump road, and the lady who works at the transfer station stopped by last year and said, "Hey, Kevin, do you want a mini bike? I had it in my backyard. It's been sitting for a few years." And she goes, "I'm not going to do anything with it. So she goes, if you want it, you can have it." Well, times passed. I forgot about it. She forgot about it. And then she had it in the back of her truck one day. She stopped by the house and goes, "Kevin, I brought that bike to you. You still want that?" "Absolutely." And it happened to be a Baja Warrior 200. So I got some video on that. And a person here in town donated to the channel a, what do you call it there? Hold on 1 second. Let's see if I forget his name. Hold on 1 second. I'm not good with names, and I do apologize for that. Let's see here. Hold on 1 second. Boom. See if we can find it real quick. His name is Kevin as well. So, hold on 1 second. Nope, not Kevin. Hold on 1 second. Wrong person. Hold on. With Jacob. Yep, Jacob. Donated the. No, it's Kevin. Kevin donated to the channel a 400 Honda to the channel, which was super awesome. So I appreciate that. And the CDI needs to get some work. It's not the automatic like I used to have, but it needs a lot of work, and I think it'll make some great video will run. So, have you ever worked on a CL? Oh, yes, I have. Yep, I sure have. Thanks for the chat, Kevin. Have a great day. You too, Lewis. What do you call it? Yes, I have. The CL 100 was a great bike. That's got the points just like the 350 up on the top on the cylinder head. And I actually converted one of those to an electronic ignition. It didn't like that very much, but it did it. And what do you call it there? Yeah, they're fun bikes. The CL 100 is one of those, how do I put it, kind of forgotten bikes. They did have a lot of power, though. I enjoyed the one I worked on. I didn't own one, but I worked on one. And I also worked on a CB 100. Basically, same bike, just the exhaust, like on yours, comes up like a dirt bike and goes into the one muffler. The other one I worked on did not. So, pretty cool bikes, though. Yeah, my CB350, I got that when I was like 15 and a half. I love that bike. I actually got that off my friend at the time who was too big for the bike. And yeah, I rode I got my license on that bike. That bike it's always been part of me. And then when I moved back home from northern New Hampshire, I lived up in the White Mountains for a while. When I moved back home, I ended up selling the bike because I just didn't have room for it, and I had to get rid of it. And I had too many vehicles at the time. I had my van, my wagon, and I had my truck. So I sold that, and yeah, it was pretty cool. Oh, cool. Send me some pictures of that. Send that to that Kevin Subs 2016 at gmail.com. I'm interested in seeing that. That's a cool bike. Yeah, is that your bike? Those are pretty cool. So yeah, we got that going on. So yeah, it was cool. We are going to be wrapping up a lot of bikes really quickly, and we have a lot of cool things going to be happening in the near future. I'm going to be showing you guys some pictures of the float. Oh, you're lucky. You are lucky. Of the trail that I'm making for all the bikes. All the bikes are going to be showcased on it. We're going to be doing a what do you call it there? When I take the meet and greet, that'll be the trail. It's going to be all YouTube, and you're going to see all my bikes. All my bikes that you see on the channel are going to be on there, and a few more. Oh, good to see you back. Oh, thank you, Chad. Fill up my cage. 100 smokes in the morning, burns off. The wide open throttle run. Oh. And the rotary valve O-rings and sales. Yep. So, it sounds to me like you have a lot of soot in your exhaust. That is a perfect example of a lot of soot in your exhaust. So, what happens? The soot is burning inside the muffler, and then when it gets to that point of temperature, it kind of planes off when it all equalizes. So what you can do with that is you have to clean out your exhaust. I would start there first. That's common with that. And your exhaust tip, like the packing I was showing you. Redo your packing. That would help that too. On that note, I'm glad you and everyone watching. Thank you. Thank you. You have a great day too. I also want to talk to you guys about another YouTuber, and her name is Stacy Caldwell, and Cowell, and Stacy lives in Australia. She's working on a Kawasaki G4 TR, and she's a member of the channel and everything else. So get over there and give her some love. It's really nice to see some women getting into this trade and really just, getting behind the movement. And everybody's a mechanic. They just don't know it yet. And when they watch my channel, they're going to have the confidence to what do you call it? The turn wrenches, turn 10 millimeter, 12 millimeter, and 14 millimeter sockets and wrenches, and have the confidence to fix these things correctly. And I always say that I am your wingman. I am your teacher. You guys are the students, and you guys are actually putting the time in and doing the work. So that is huge. Keep up that good work. Hopefully, it inspires you guys to take this trade to a different level. Maybe even do some night classes at a trade school or something on those lines. These bikes are vintage, and they're becoming more rare and more rare and more rare. And I personally cannot buy them all. So if you guys are in these other states and you guys are picking these bikes up for $200 or $300, I'm not jealous. I'm proud. Okay, that means that these bikes are survivors, and you guys are going to come and you guys are going to fix them, and you're going to ask me questions. Feel free to ask the questions because that's what I'm about, and we are saving history one bike at a time. And these questions. So people, well, I have a stupid question for you. No, it's not a stupid question. It's a legit question. Literally, you guys are me in different places. I have the knowledge, and I'm just sharing it with you guys, and you guys are turning the wrenches. So keep that good work up. I'm very proud of you guys, and I'm very proud of the support. But most importantly, I'm proud that you guys are taking this channel and using it in real life applications to get these bikes up and going. And from what I could tell, there's not another channel out on YouTube that does what we do. So we're it. So this community of brothers and sisters has really grown to a whole new level. It's awesome. Yeah, the Obi-Wan. Thank you, Chad. Yeah, so it really is. The channel's a blessing to me because I get to share all my knowledge with you guys, make friends, and have these talks, these chats, and grow something that I didn't even think was going to even work. I didn't even want to do this channel. Like I said, my son made me do it, and now that I've done it, I love it. I'm like, I can't not do it now. It ain't like I can just walk away from this. I can't. So this has been something. This grew because of my son wanting to do video games on the computer, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. And he's like, why don't you make a YouTube channel? I didn't want to do a YouTube channel. And I told him, I said, if I wanted to do a YouTube channel, I would. I said to him, well, if nobody's doing what I'm doing, then I will. And nobody was doing what I'm doing. So there you guys have it. And now here we are. When you take something and you nurture it and grow it, it becomes into something beautiful. And you guys have been absolutely amazing on picking up these bikes. I hear people go, I just picked up this bike for $300. I stole it. Yeah, you did. You really did. And then you go on eBay. Where do you get parts? And I wish I could sell more parts, but I really can't because I need my parts for my channel. I did sell a lot of parts early on, and I got to the point where I'm starting to regret selling parts because I need them for these builds. I also can't do the channel. So that's why I don't sell the parts. People ask me, but you have so many. I do have so many, but not all of them are good. And there's a lot of donation stuff that comes in. Like you guys donate parts to me all the time. And I don't sell those parts. I give those to other subscribers who bring their bikes to me. I use those parts on their bikes. And that's a big thing because it's a brotherhood. So I'm keeping it as a brotherhood. So if I get the bike in, then I can use those parts on that bike, and then it makes the video. Because as you guys are having a hard time getting parts, so am I. So if I use the donation parts, and what are donation parts? Donation parts are parts that people pulled off their bike, like a marker light, and it might have a broken pedestal. Well, I might get another bike that has another directional that has a good pedestal and a broken light. So then I'll take them apart, switch them out, and then now I have a good light. And then it goes back in the donation box. So those sort of things, that's what those are for. But those parts are only for subscribers' bikes. And, it's kind of a community thing, So, And now that COVID's basically over, and we get out, we're going to try doing that bike ride this year. And because I wanted to do it last year, but then we're in the middle of a pandemic. I'm like, oh, come on. So we're going to try doing that, getting that done this year. And I got to find out what I have to do for that. And and some meet and greets, and maybe, see what we can do, I am, what do you call it? I'm actually not sure, Kane. I think it's the following week. But send me your contact information on that right there, and I'll contact you and let you know. Hey, Brian, how are you? I was just what do you call it there? Shit about your bike earlier. So yeah, I mean, we got some serious stuff going on. And Brian's bike, we just started tearing into his bike. You guys saw that video. It has a brand new piston. He lucked out. Man, you lucked out. And then we have the other clutch basket from the other bike. And those springs are good, by the way. So that'll work. And we're just trying to get the nitty gritty on Brian's bike, get all of his parts and pieces all to how we want to do them. And those videos will be coming out not next week, but the week after. I'm hoping to wrap that motor up. Yes, you heard that right. I'm going to be busting butt on that because I want to get that bike done. And we have that bike, which is a big build, and Robert's bike, which is the DT 400. And I had some problems with a fork on that, but not that big of a deal. And then we're going to get those two major bikes wrapped up. And then everything else after that's simple. So, and we have the Suzuki 120. Yeah, a 120 with high and low. That's going to be a fun. It won't shift, nothing. So we're going to be getting into that. In between them, we're going to be working on some of my bikes as well. I have a mini bike that you'll be seeing, that Warrior, getting that thing going. I'm going to do a first look on the CB 400. But to be honest with you, that's more of a back burner bike. It's not going to be touched anytime soon because I have that Honda MT 250 two-stroke that I want to get up and running because I want to ride that thing. That's another street bike that I want to be riding. I'll be taking a 250 Honda two-stroke to work. So that'll be fun. There's just so much going on, guys. It's just trying to get everything done, get the yard done, get the messes cleaned up, and just prep up for this year because we're going to be going at it crazy. I got rid of a lot of projects that I wasn't going to do anything with. What do you call it there? Just a lot of junk has gone. I basically went through anything that was really, really bad has been gone. So, knock on wood, it's been great. I feel a lot better when I can move around. We're gonna get rid of some of the benches that are in the shop, make it more. We're gonna keep the big bench, and we're gonna keep one of the tool things. Other than that, they're all coming out of there, so I have more room on the lift. I think next year, because we're getting bigger, I think next year I'm going to be integrating another lift into the shop. Please figure out a way to make those videos electronic point conversion. Yes, I am. I'll tell you what I'm using for parts, Philip. So, in Suzuki LT 50, Suzuki Junior 50, Kawasaki KX 50, or KDX 50, use a pulse generator just like the KE 100s use. Excuse me. And the same type of coil with the CDI built into it. I am trying to integrate that into a 3-magnet flywheel. So the problem with the earlier bikes is the wiring, because it has the pink wire, the blue wire, and the yellow wire. Those all go to different areas of the bike, in a nutshell. Whereas the newer KEs, like from the early 80s all the way up to today, have the 2 yellow wires going up to a voltage regulator. So I'm trying to make something that is literally plug and play that will work with a 3-magnet flywheel. Unfortunately, there is nothing out there except for the Suzuki the Suzuki TS 125. Some use a pickup coil on a 3-magnet flywheel. So you're probably like, you lost me. Exactly. The parts are very hard to find, but the Suzuki and that Kawasaki KDX 50 motor I told you about, that pulse coil, is the same. That motor from Kawasaki is actually built by Suzuki for Kawasaki. So that whole engine family uses the same pulse generator and ignition coil, which will work that coil. So say you had a 96 KE100 and your coil went. You could use that coil for the CDI from a KDX 50, a Suzuki Junior 50, an LT 50 four-wheeler. It's all the same. So that pulse coil is the same. It just has a different mount. So I'm trying to make that mount work on the 3-magnet flywheel. If that can sense it properly, that bike will run. But it depends on its location and timing. So I'm trying to nail that down while keeping all factory wiring, because I like plug and play. I like simplicity. Like when I was doing, if you watch my KV 75, what I did with that is I took an old plate, I mocked it all up, drilled a bunch of holes in it so I could clock it differently, got it to where I wanted it with a timing light. Then I transferred those holes over to a good plate, and then took all the parts and pieces off and put it on there. And now that bike has CDI. I have the first KV 75 with CDI ignition. If the signal is weak, then you replace your points and condenser, and that should bring it right back. The points and condenser just, have been around for over 100 years. In fact, in some applications, they're even still used today on certain machines. In fact, switches, which are points, so toggle switches, those are all points activated. So the points have been around for over 100 years and are still used today in switches. And of course, they're differently shaped, but they're the same concept. They're very reliable. Points, like I said, they've been great. The thing is it's very difficult to understand how it goes. And I'm going to be doing some more ignition videos, because it seems like every time I do an ignition video, more people understand it. So I can do an ignition video 5 different ways. And people who wouldn't understand it this way, like, I have no idea what the hell he's talking about, would understand the way I do it this way. And then be like, oh, and vice versa with all the rest of them. So every time I teach it and explain it differently, more different people get it. So it's really, what I'm trying to do is not be repetitive, but tune into your learning, the way you learn. And if I can get that, then there's going to be a lot of people that are very happy. I have used points. The only reason why I don't use points in my bikes, and I've said this a bazillion times, there is nothing wrong with points. Nothing. They, like I said, been around for 100 years. They work perfectly. No issues. The only thing is, I have 28 bikes. When you have 28 bikes and you have to tune each one of them up every other year, it's expensive. It is very expensive. And now points are going up in price, but cheaper than a CDI. Then I run into a financial crunch where what bike is going to run, what bike is not going to run. So that's why, awesome, I appreciate that. Thank you. That's why I don't have points. And well, I do have one bike with points. I have a MT1 Kawasaki 75, and that orange one still has points in it, and it's not getting CDI. So I don't mind having 1 or 2 bikes with points, but excuse me. But when you get upwards of 28 bikes and everything has points, you're ready to rip your hair out. Especially if you have 2-3 bikes go down in one season, it gets crazy. The idea behind the points is to keep that little piece of felt that's in there that rubs against the wheel oiled and make sure they're clean and dry. So if you want points to last, lubricate the felt. Keep a nice clean gasket on there and try not to drown the bike. If you can do all that with the bike, then you are going to have a long-lasting bike, long-lasting set of points. They can last for years. I mean, I've had bikes that, I haven't changed the points in, before I convert everything, like 4 years. They last a long time with heavy riding. Typically, on the small bikes, you don't ride them all that much. Like my KD80, I didn't ride that. I still don't ride that all that often, but it has CDI. Now, when I go to start the bike, I know it's going to start because the points aren't going to be stuck together. So you have pros and cons to points in CDI, but once again, if you do your proper maintenance on the bike, your points are going to be perfectly fine. But I understand why people like CDI because points are getting harder to find. We're going to be doing some videos on how to check your a quick test to make sure your condenser is working. I have got a plethora of videos coming up, and it's because of you guys' comments. Every time I watch, I see like hey Kevin, what do you think about this? Oh, that's a great video. That's an amazing video. I got to do a video on that. So I have a ton of ideas for videos, and it's because you guys' comments. You guys, like I said, are great with the comments. I really can't thank you enough for the comments. It keeps driving. That's what happens, and I there's no stupid questions. So, I had one. What was that last one? About the cylinder head. How much do I shave it down to get high compression? And I'm like, whoa. No, you don't do that. It's a different head. If I'm doing a video on something and you don't understand it, put it right down in the comment. If you need me to explain it a little bit differently, I don't want you guys missing things. I want you guys to follow what I'm saying from start to finish and be able to use those techniques, tips and tricks, the applications for your particular build. Because without that, it's just gonna go nowhere. You know what I mean? So make sure that you do that. And also too, my buddy Dale's channel is doing wonderful. So if you guys haven't been over to Dale Swager, get over there, and he has a great channel. Does a lot of Suzuki stuff, and make sure you subscribe. Give him a thumbs up as well, and his channel's growing like crazy. So he does basically the same thing I do. He just does a lot of Suzukis. Does Kawasaki's too, and we're going to be doing that video, the collaboration video. I just got to send them out to frame. That's all I got to do. So I got to get that together and send that out to Dale, and then he can start doing that. For the my Honda CT70. All of a sudden, I got like a ton of Hondas. I got the Honda. I got my original CB350 back. That 350 has a 360 engine I put on it. I got the CB400 now. I got the MT250 two-stroke, my Honda Z50, my CT70 Honda, and so I got like 5 Hondas in 1 year. It's been crazy, and just didn't expect it. You don't know what's going to come through the door. You appease the Japanese motorcycle gods, and they smile upon you and bless you with bikes. So that's how it goes. And I didn't rub no Buddhas or nothing like that. So don't, I'm not worshiping any other gods other than Jesus, but those guys are just, it's amazing the dynasties that they've made. And to be part of, something that happened way before you were even a thought. And then I just always love these bikes. They're just classic looking bikes. You have to really respect them. Like say cats. Yeah, cats. Yeah, I mean cats can show up. And yeah, we have all kinds of cats here, from what do you call it? There, house cats to bobcats and more. So, and they like to eat rabbits. And nothing like going outside and seeing rabbit guts. At least they could clean up after themselves. But well, what are they gonna do? So yeah, it's been crazy. So we got some stuff, and I'm still trying to find a place that does shirts reasonable, because I want to do some shirts this year. We are guys. I can't even. I gotta check this. Oh, I gotta show you guys something. If I can find it here. Hold on one second. Yeah, we're up to 8,064 subscribers, and growing. This has just been an outstanding venture. So we're already on our way to the next goal, and I got to do something big. When we hit 10K, I think I should do some. I think I might give away a Milwaukee kit. I might get a Milwaukee kit to give away. What do you guys think about that? Maybe a what do you call it? The same type of tools I use, like the M12. I might do a 3/8 impact and a bit driver that I use with the bits. Probably put together a couple bags. I'll do 2 bags with both of those in there, and then download like a comment generator, picks a comment randomly. Think about doing something like that when we hit 10K. Um, something big, something nice. Maybe I can use some M12 stuff. I'm not associated with Milwaukee, but I do love the product, and I've been using it for ever now. And there is nothing like it. I've used the Snap-on. The Milwaukee is what does it. So yeah, the Milwaukee is definitely what really busts the bolts loose, and the bikes I work on seem to like it. So I keep going. Excuse me. What else is there? Let's see. So I covered the shirts, the float. Yeah, I want to do something. I want to do something big and special, because we are really just growing like crazy. It's just been nuts. Um, I know I brought it up again, but honestly, I'm just really blown away by it. And I want to do some. I want to do an intro for the channel. Now that we're getting to that point, I'm not going to go crazy with it, but I'm gonna record something for the intro that'll show before the videos, and I think we're gonna have to. Hi, Kane. See you later. Um, Start promoting it a little bit more, and taking it to another level. I didn't. I never expected to get like this. So you guys, like I said, have been absolutely amazing. We have I showed you guys the packing video on the KE100, the KE102 build exhaust, and I'm going to do that on more bikes. I think that I want to remember how I was telling you guys at the beginning when I first started doing videos. We're going to like take this step by step. I think that you guys have watched enough of my videos and seen enough of my content where you guys are ready for next level mechanics. So I think we're going to do. Um, I'm going to start showing you guys some safe shortcuts that are quick diagnostics, some tips and tricks that will allow you to quickly and understandably, which is the most important part, how to do things and get to the end result a little quicker. Now, you'd probably say, well, why don't you show us that in the beginning? Because some of the stuff is a little bit more advanced. And if you don't know what you're looking at or what you're actually doing, um, it can be confusing. So I'm going to be showing a little bit more of that in the videos, some real shortcut stuff that's really going to take you like, wow, I didn't know that. But from you guys watching my ignition videos, my carburation videos, you'll be able to discern what's what. And I'm going to make sure I put that in there that, like if you hear me use the terminology next level, this is for you guys who've been watching the channel, have been working on your bikes for a while, and you're like, okay, I need a little bit more. You're going to get a little bit more from this. Have a good night, Phil. And you're very welcome. Yeah, so when I do that, make sure that if I do something that's a little bit more advanced and you're not quite sure, you can feel free to answer, ask questions, and I'll answer them for you, because it's very, very important. Very important. I don't want you guys to get lost in translation when I'm doing something. But like I said, you guys have been with me for a very long time now, and you guys have watched like a ton of my videos, and you guys have fixed many, many bikes. I mean, Miles, Art, and Arnie, they could build 3 bikes already. I mean, it's just crazy what's been going on with that. So, we're going to do some regular stuff like we always do, but we're going to also do some next level stuff. And I think that, teaching you guys some shortcuts and quick diagnostics will really help you out. But once again, you have to know what you're looking at. So, we'll definitely be doing a lot of that. Let's see. I wonder if there's anything else. I think that pretty much covers it. What do you call it there? We're going to do some first starts. None of my bikes have been fired up this year. None of them. They've all been, put away for the winter. None of them have fired off. And so we'll be doing some videos on all that pretty soon. Coming up, there'll be a whole big video on that. And I might do one with them all running at the same time. That will be fun. So all the bikes I do on the channel, we'll see how many kicks they have and to fire off. So that'll be cool. It's always good to see how many kicks it takes your bikes to fire off. Yeah, it's, just to play around, see what the heck's going on, kick them over, fire them off, and what to look for on each different make and model. And I'll show you guys how I do them, what I look for, and that sort of thing. None of my bikes stay outside. They're all undercover and inside, actually. They're all inside, undercover. And so they're not out in the freezing cold. I do take the batteries out of all of them, and those batteries come in the house. The batteries are all due for to be replaced. And I had one person ask about starting a bike without a battery. The KE100s, the KM100 are all designed to start without a battery. However, if you start it without a battery, it will blow the headlight because the battery does dampen the voltage because it's AC current going to them, and then change over to DC. So make sure you always have a good battery in the bike when you start it with so you don't blow your headlight. G4T seems really hot. I just got oil pump running, and I'm using 16-1. Okay, so you're using a 16-1 mix in your gas tank, and you're running the oil pump. Is that what you're saying? Because hold on, I gotta read that again. Runs really hot. Just got a new oil pump running, but in the main, on my main tank, I'm using 16. That's way too much oil. That's way, way, way too much oil. So if you got the oil pump running and you have 16-1 in your tank, that's way too much oil. You might be smelling that burning in the exhaust. The best thing you can do with that is you don't need to run premix in both. So you have your premix in your tank. You don't want to do that. You want a regular gas in that, straight gas. And you want to use a high octane. The higher the octane, the cooler the engine will run. Second, you want to use a good quality 2-stroke oil in your tank, and the oil tank, and you want to use a oil that is designed for the auto lube, air cooled, and you do not want to use marine. So those are a couple things to start. The G4TR has a high compression head, um, and a very small wrist pin. If the bike is running hot, the first thing you want to do is pull that plug and take a look and see what it looks like. And if it's a good tannish color, it should be tan. If it's a good tannish color, it's good. If it's gray, now you get metal transfer. That means you're burning up. You don't want to let the engine burn up. So that means that you have an air leak someplace, or you're running too lean. There could be a bad, too small of a jet. It could be a clogged, what do you call it? An open exhaust, no air filter, no carb cover. Could be a bad crank seal or a gasket. So when you're doing that, when you're trying to set that up, those are some of the things to look for. Also, too, what I would highly recommend is watching my video on how to do a pressure test and pressure test the engine and make sure that there is no air leaks. What is the best oil on a KE 175? Are you talking two-stroke oil or transmission oil? If you're talking two-stroke oil, I use the Kawasaki, or I use the Yamalube or the Lucas. All three of those are very, very good. The Yamalube seems to be what they for the two-stroke. Yeah, I like the Yamalube, which is the Yamaha oil, or the Kawasaki. Or like I said, the Lucas. I have a video on the Lucas. All three of those good. The non-smoke oil will smoke. It's inevitable. I don't know why it says no smoke. You'd have to have a brand new bike for it not to smoke. I like them smoky. Smoking means you have oil. That's the quickest way to go. Another tip that I use, and I'm sure you've seen this on some of the bikes I've done, is I no longer use black tubing going from the oil reservoir to the oil pump. I use a clear or colored tube. So if the bike is blue, I try to get clear blue line. If the bike is yellow or orange, I try to get a yellow line that's clear, that's transparent and going down, so I can see the oil flow. It's basically like putting an oil gauge on a bike. So you know that there's oil in the tank, but is it getting to the pump? That's the question. So if you have a clear line, you can see that there's no air bubbles and it's just a smooth, steady, straight, oil line, and that helps out a lot. So any of those oils are good. Just make sure, Kane, when you're looking at the bikes or when you're looking at oil, it's got to say for oil injection or oil lube, and then it has to be a what do you call it, low ash, which they don't put that on the bottles anymore. They're pretty much all low ash. But what do you call it there? You want to make sure you're using one for an air cooled engine. That is imperative because liquid cooled and oil cooled are two totally different oils. They are not the same. And if you use like a marine oil in there, you're going to start to get a lot of soot in your exhaust because it's designed for air cooled. And the what do you call it there? Oh, excuse me. Liquid cooled is a totally different viscosity and all that. So hopefully that helped and answer that question, because that's a very important thing. Do not use synthetic oil in the transmission. They do not like it. The clutches don't like it. The transmission loves it, but the clutches hate it. So conventional oil has been used in these bikes since they were first manufactured, and I would keep that in there. Some of the early bikes actually used automatic transmission fluid. A lot of the race bikes use ATF, automatic transmission fluid. The clutches like that, but I don't like it. It makes the I find that the transmission's a little louder with transmission like ATF. So I use, the book calls for 10W30 to 10W40. I like the 10W40. or you can even use like a 1540 if you want. That really quiets them down, makes them nice and smooth and quiet. Um, but once the clutches, they're only small clutches, so if you impregnate those clutch plates with synthetic, they're gonna slip. They're not like a all right, so I can word it this way. When you go to a bike shop and they have oil on the shelf and it says fully synthetic for Kawasaki transmissions, they're talking about the KDX, the KX, the KDX, those type of bikes, the performance bikes, because the yep, see you later, Kane. The clutches are much more bigger and they're made of a different material. So you want to make sure that you get the oil proper for your bike. And the book clearly states conventional oil. And I have had a couple bikes that come through the shop here, and I picked up a bike for it was like 350, $400. No, it's 350 up in Vermont there, which is now the KE102 build. The guy put synthetic in there on the clutches on that, and I think that's why that bike stopped. Like they stopped using it. Yep, 2050. That's fine. Yep, that'll work too, and I'm sure it loves it. And I bet you it's quiet. The thicker the oil you use, the more quieter it is. I have a friend who uses on his KV75. He uses gear oil in it, like 75W140 conventional gear oil, and he said it helped this transmission. He had shifting fork problems, and that helped it. So, I mean, the thicker the oil, the quieter it's going to be, and the clutches will love that. Conventional oil is the best oil for these older bikes. It's not, like I said, it's not the new synthetic stuff. So, very important. So, yeah, it's just one of those type of things where, you just gotta use the bike the way it is, and embrace the bike for what it is, because it's a great bike. It's just you can't keep putting new modern stuff in there. They don't like it. All right, talk to you later. Yeah, I gotta go too, guys. So we're gonna button it up. It is 9:00. So I just want to say once again, guys, thank you for all your subscriptions. Thank you for the 8,000 plus subscriptions, and you guys have been absolutely great. So we're gonna keep chugging along and making some great content, and it's because of you guys' comments. And please don't forget to do those videos. That's important to the channel. And if you guys can get over there, check out Stacy Caldwell's YouTube channel, and of course Dale Swagers. Give them both a thumbs up. Give them both, hit that bell icon so when they post a video, you guys get it. And don't forget to subscribe. All right, guys, I'm off. Once again, thank you. Thank you for the super chat. And I will talk to you guys later. I'm out. Oh, good to see you too, James. I'll talk to you guys later. I'm out.